Salve fellow YouTubers, 93 Monster Mike here once again. This time we're looking at the Playmates, Godzilla vs. Kong, Mechagodzilla with HEAV from the blockbuster movie Godzilla vs. Kong. I have seen the movie twice, and I loved it. So, before we get to the figure, let's have a look at the packaging, which is very similar to any Godzilla vs. Kong merch toy stuff. You know, the orange and the blue, the city, Godzilla and Kong. Figure that which shows the part where the battle damage is. Blockbuster movie Godzilla vs. Kong, that is new. Monsterverse, Mechagodzilla with HEAV, Toho, Legendary, Playmates, Legal Mumbo Jumbo, and where the tail attaches. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Back of the packaging, with a bit of a read-up right back there, which says, a robotic apex predator with unstoppable powers of laser destruction, Mechagodzilla was created in secret to destroy Godzilla and end the reign of the monsters. And of course, there's that promo. Pretty good promo shot of Mechagodzilla, as well as the figures in the line. Godzilla Radio Tower, Kong with Fighter Jet, Skullcrawler with HEAV, which I've already reviewed, Godzilla with Heat Ray, Warbat with Osprey, and Kong with Battle Axe, which I have also reviewed. I am kind of still on the lookout for the Warbat with Osprey, but will I get him or not, it remains to be seen. So, one of the things you do get with this figure is this repaint of the HEAV, or Hollow Earth Anti-Gravity Vehicle. It's the same as the one that came with the Skullcrawler, as such, only this time it is military green with a silver windshield, whereas the original is, of course, silver with a black windshield. And it's hollow in the center. Huh. This one has a 1 in the middle of it, and this one is like 2, so, interesting. Didn't notice that until now. But it's a pretty fun little accessory, you know? Now onto the real meat and potatoes of this review. Mechagodzilla himself. So, wow. Monsterverse. We now have Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan, King Ghidorah, and Mechagodzilla. We officially have the big 5 of Toho in the Monsterverse. How much more awesome can that get? But overall, I just got my initial impressions with Mechagodzilla. Well, the Monsterverse incarnation of Mechagodzilla. Very interesting. I was actually rather surprised that Mechagodzilla was going to be in this movie at all. Then when I saw promo pictures of, like, at a toy fair or whatever, of this guy, I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah. And then when I saw his design and what he did in the movie, I actually began to take a liking to this incarnation of Mechagodzilla. It kind of gave me vibes of Terminator, like the T-800 Terminator to be exact. Megatron for the Transformers franchise, not just the Bayverse, mind you. And also Ultron from Marvel Comics. And of course, in the image of Godzilla himself, but it just doesn't have dorsal plates shaped like Godzilla, but I'm okay with that. I'm indifferent. But I really do love all the mechanical details I was putting into this figure, and also the parts that kind of do remind me a bit of a skeleton. Like, these would be like the ribs, and of course these would be the vertebra. But his head is kind of huge for some weird reason. And his toes are surprisingly long, and his hands, it kind of remind me of those old skill crane games that you'd find in an arcade. He's cast basically in a slightly metallic silver plastic, but you also do, of course, have red highlights in the chest, the eyes, a dark gunmetal gray, or gunmetal silver, for the lower half of the jaw. He also has a mouth, has a hole in his mouth, probably for like an atomic breath piece or something, or proton scream. And of course, red plastic for the dorsal plates. I really do love all the panels, and for a $10 for a figure that retails for about $10, it's actually pretty darn good. I really do like it. Also, worth noting, people on eBay and Facebook groups and other online stores, they're selling this guy for like 50 to 90 bucks. Come on, people. I mean, seriously, paying 9 times the value of this figure? It's criminal, you know? There's no way I'd spend that much money on a figure that's originally intended to be like 10 bucks. I mean, the aftermarket value for this figure or whatever, it's too dang ridiculous. Come on. There are a lot of kids out there who I'm sure would definitely want to pick this figure up. I know. I'm not necessarily one of them, but I do know others, like my younger cousin, who's also a fellow Godzilla fan, and yeah. And he was lucky enough to get one too for an affordable price. But anyway, I'm rambling on. I'm sorry. That was my minor vent. Okay. So as for opposability, his jaw can open and close, so you could probably try to recreate the Proton Scream scenes. The shoulders are a pin and socket, so arms can rotate forward and back as well as go in and out. Nothing at the elbows, which is kind of weird, and also nothing at the wrists, which kind of would have been cool. But there's definitely finger and wrist articulation in the 11-inch scale version of this guy. Legs can spread out like so, and they are in ratchet joints. They can also move forward and back about 180 degrees or so. The knees can bend, which is pretty good. He has swivels at the feet, which is rather surprising. And of course the tail, which does come disassembled out of the packaging like so. It's on a ball joint, so it could go up, down, left, right, spin, all that good stuff. And the rest of the tail is, well, it's somewhat pliable, but it returns to its original shape. There's no bendy wire whatsoever. Oh well. Oh, and as for the battle damage, it's hidden rather well, but as you could tell from the packaging, or may have seen from other videos, it's right here. And wow, look at that. Very similar paint scheme from in the mouth, but a little bit darker, but really do love the detail that was put into the battle damage. So now on to sizing. Let us pull out his organic predecessor or inspiration, Godzilla. And most incarnations of Mechagodzilla depict him as being significantly bigger, if not roughly the same size. But personally, I kind of like how this really looks. I think it could definitely work. Let's pull out another Titan that he did fight off. The Skullcrawler. Yeah, I'm not exactly going to spoil how the Skullcrawlers fit into the whole Godzilla vs. Kong movie. I recommend it. You check it out yourselves. It's probably not an HBO Max anymore, but if you did get to see it, great for you guys. I'm proud. And personally, the Skullcrawler's a little on the big side. Because I remember the Skullcrawler being significantly smaller than Mecha G. But I think this works okay too. Next up, Kong. And yeah, if it turns out Kong is like a little over 330 feet tall, so he should technically be dwarfed by Mechagodzilla, but figure-wise, this doesn't look too bad either. I'm okay with this. And just for plain fun, let us bring in the other Titans. Godzilla. Ghidorah. Mothra, and of course, Rodan. So there you go, folks. The Big Five of Toho Monsterverse version. The gang's all here. Oh, and speaking of which, spoiler alert. The third head that was decapitated by Godzilla off the shores of Isla Damara, apparently his brain was being used to control Mechagodzilla. Yeah. Now, as for price and availability, like I mentioned earlier, unfortunately, since the movie has been released, the Playmates Godzilla vs. Kong figures are can only be found at Walmart in terms of retail. Otherwise, on online, it can be found also on online stores, but the online stores, they have ridiculously overpriced this figure and many other Godzilla vs. Kong figures. It's completely, it's insane. If you can find this figure for anywhere from like 15 to maybe just maybe $25, go for it. Or if you can find it in stores for $10, what are you waiting for? But anywhere above $25, no way. Do not. It is not worth $25. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. I do thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, feel free to hit the thumbs up if you like this video. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below on what you guys think of this figure, what you thought of Mechagodzilla, like this incarnation or other versions of Mechagodzilla in the first place. And also, feel free to hit the little bell icon to be notified whenever I upload another video. So that's pretty much it for this video. Again, thank you all for watching. This has been 93 Monster Mike.